कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, कृष्णा 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 हे, कृष्णा 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 हे, कृष्ण केशव पाहि मां, राम राघव रक्ष मां, कृष्ण केशव पाहि मां, राम राघव रक्ष मां, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय, जय राधा माधव, जय श्री राधा माधव, जय जय प्रभुपाद, गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल। कलियुग पावन हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद श्रील गुरुदेव की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कथा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरदुषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपीश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। जयतां सुरतो पंगोर मम मंद मतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्बोजौ श्रीराधा मदन मोहनौ दिव्याद् वृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद् राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवौ पृष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानौ स्मरामि। श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भेर् वंशीवटतटस्थितः कर्षन् वेणोर्स्वनैर्गोपैर् गोपीनाथश्रियेस्तु नः तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तडालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरं। हरिः ओम तत्सत्। Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining in for the Chaitanya Charitamrita session today. Today we are starting with chapter number 23 of Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj. So in the 22nd chapter we discussed the various angas of bhakti. Shravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana Pada Sevana Dasya Re Pujana Saki Jana Atma Nivedana Govinda Dasa Abhilasha. So Govinda Das Kaviraj Goswami writes in this beautiful song, he says that I want to engage in all of these angas of devotional service. Shravanam, hearing, Kirtanam, chanting the glories of the Lord, Shravana Kirtana, and the constant Shravanam and Kirtanam will enable us to do Shravanam, Smaranam. Smaranam is remembrance of the Lord, like Prahlad Maharaj. Even when he was actually put into trouble by his own father, he was always able to remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Smaranam, Shravana Kirtana, Smarana, Vandana. Vandana is offering prayers to the Lord. Shravana Kirtana, Smarana, Vandana, Pada Sevana, Lakshmi Devi. We see how she always offers services to the lotus feet of the Lord. Pujana, Puja. Puja is worshipping the Lord using the Pancharatrika Vidhi. We do Mangala Arati, we do Tulsi Arati, we do Narsingha Arati, we do Guru Puja, we do Gaur Arati, right? We do, various, we offer various articles like incense, Deepa, Dhupa, Chamara, Vyanjana, Pushpa, like that, right? We offer all these things. So those are part of our deity worship, Puja, Pujana. Saki Jana, right? When we engage in the service of the Lord in complete surrenderance, then the Lord by his own mercy will enable us to experience the rasas which are higher than Dasya Bhav, right? Sometimes, a devotee who's in the Sakya Bhav may actually feel friendship with the Lord, right? Where he feels that the Lord is dependent on him, right? If the Lord is feeling tired, the Lord will lie down on the lap of Balaram, right? In this way, Balaram serves also in the Sakya Rasa, right? That those are all very, very high level stages. We cannot imagine ourselves to be in any of the rasas, but that is the goal, right? Wherever we are actually trying to become servant of the Lord. We want to serve the Lord in a way that pleases the Lord. But by engaging in that seva, our destination is to understand the Lord completely and perform ahaituki apratihata seva unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is Sakya Bhava. And then Atma Nivedanam. Atma Nivedanam is complete surrenderance to the Lord. Ashlishyava Padaratam Vinishtumam Adarshanan Marmahatam Karotuva Yatha Tathava Vidadatu Lampato Mat Prananathas Tusa Eva Nakara. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells in Shikshashtikam, the last verse, right? He exhibits the mood of a pure devotee of the Lord. What does he say? Ashlishyava Padaratam Vinishtumam. That means whether you are embracing me by your mercy or Adarshanan Marmahatam Karotuva. Adarshanan means you're not even giving me your darshan. right? You're not enabling me to have your darshan, right? Because Krishna is Swaran. If Krishna wants to hide himself, right, no one can see Krishna. Even the pure devotees of the Lord sometimes are put into illusion by Krishna's will. In such a case, we have to simply understand that we're always dependent on the Lord for whatever stage of devotion we may be, right? From Shraddha to Atma Nivedanam, right? Whatever is the stage that we are in, we are always dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like Arjuna was put into illusion, he's a pure devotee of the Lord. He is in Sakya Rasa. Yet he was put into illusion by the Lord because to serve a higher purpose, right? As long as the Lord and his pure devotees engages in some seva, we should be happy performing that particular seva for the pleasure of the Lord. And that is the ultimate position that a devotee aspires for. A devotee always wants to aspire for pure devotional service. Anya bilashita shunyam, right? No desire for personal sense gratification. Anya bilashita shunyam, jnana karmadi anavritam, right? Not even acquiring too much knowledge, because it leads to ahankar. Right? I was hearing a devotee's class. I was telling ahankara plus jnana results in agyana. Agyana, om agyana timirandasya. Agyana means ignorance. If you get too much gyan, and that adds to our false ego. Oh, I know so many shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. Oh, I know so many shlokas of Bhagavatam. I have read the entire Chaitanya Charitamrita. I can recollect all the pastimes. In that way, if you are getting, if you are experiencing false ego, if you are experiencing I, glorifying I, then there is Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam. It is no use. It becomes Abhagya. What is that? Ahankara plus jnana is ajnana, right? And then the same jnana with vinaya, vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavihastini shuni cheva subhakecha pandita samadarshinaha. When we receive transcendental knowledge by serving our spiritual master, we also get, along with jnana, we will get vinaya. What is vinaya? Vinaya means humility. And this vinaya plus jnana will become big jnana. Big jnana means I understand how do I apply the teachings or the transcendental knowledge in my day-to-day life, right? Otherwise, jnana is useless in the head, right? If I don't know how to apply the knowledge, right? For example, I've studied so well for my exams, right? But I don't know which question, what answer I should write. Is that any use of my studies? No, right? So the use of study or the use of knowledge is only when I know how to apply that knowledge in certain circumstances in day-to-day life. Practical application is very important, right? So this big jnana is practical application of knowledge. Jnana is simply knowledge lying in the head. And even worse than that is ajnana. Ajnana means a lot of knowledge is there, but zero application. Why? Because one is actually experiencing this ahankara. Ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, right? Only fools think that they are doing everything, right? In this world, not even a blade of grass moves without the Lord's sanction. And a fool only thinks that I have got done so many things, right? Only a fool does that. That's what is Krishna's opinion. We are not bothered about anybody else's opinion. Krishna says, right? Only fools think like this. That I have done it, everything, right? So in this way, when one engages in devotional service, then Krishna is so pleased. And what does Krishna do? Krishna gives what is called love of Godhead, Krishna Prem, right? That's what we say every day in the morning. After the Shikshashtakam prayers, we chant the 10 offenses to the holy name, and we say, every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must carefully safeguard against all of these offenses in order to quickly attain the desired success, which is Krishna Prem. That's what we say, right? Very loudly. Because that is our goal. We want to love Krishna. So this particular chapter number 23 of Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita is a very, very esoteric subject matter. We are not qualified, at least I am not qualified to speak on this topic. So that is why I gave a very elaborate background, right? It is only by the mercy of the Lord we can get Krishna Prema, right? The Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita, if we see, 10.8, Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabho mattas sarvam pravartate iti vatva vajante mam udavava samvitaha. So Krishna gives sambandha gyan. Krishna is saying, I am the source of the material and the spiritual worlds. Everything emanates from me. One who knows this renders service to me with all his heart. Right? So this is Sambandha Gyan, right? We need to establish the Sambandha Gyan. We need to get the knowledge that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. I am the servant of the Lord. I need to be serving the Lord. That is Sambandha Gyan, right? The second verse, which is 10.9, Krishna says, Madchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. That's what we are doing now, right? What are we doing? We are trying to remember the Lord by reading the pastimes of the Lord, right? We are trying to remember the Lord by remembering the instructions that Krishna has given in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna has told us to do this. Madchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam, right? What do the devotees do? They think of the Lord, they remember the Lord, they remember the pastimes of the Lord, and bodhayanta parasparam, they derive great pleasure in enlightening each other about the pastimes of the Lord, about the glories of the Lord. Madchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam. They discuss the pastimes of the Lord, and in this way, what do they derive? Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. They derive great pleasure in hearing and speaking about my glories. What is this? This is Abhideya. Abhideya means process. Once we understood our sambandha with the Lord, right? We know we are the servants of the Lord. So what are we supposed to do? What is a servant supposed to do? A servant is supposed to serve the master. So how will the devotee, how will servant serve the master? The servant has to get instructions from the master, right? The servant cannot do whatever he likes and tell that, okay, I'm serving my master. No, that is foolishness, right? So a servant has to get opportunity to serve by the mercy of the spiritual, by the mercy of the master, and then he works for the satisfaction of the master. That is what is called Abhideya. The next verse, again Krishna tells, what does he say? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. He says to those devotees who are Tesham satata yuktanam, always remembering me, always chanting my glories. To them, what do I give? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam, and they engage in my loving devotional service with all their heart. Right? Dadami buddhi yogam tam. I give them the intelligence. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. I give them the knowledge by which they can come back to me. This is what Krishna is saying. So again, this is a combination of both Abhideya and Prayojana. Right? What is Abhideya from our side? We should engage in the service of the Lord 24 hours of the day, and we should engage in service with love in our heart. Right? Krishna is not in need of service. Right? Lakshmi sahasra shata sambrama sevyamanam govindamadi purusham tamam vajami. Krishna is already served with millions of Lakshmis are serving Krishna. So it is for our own purification. Krishna is not benefiting by our service. Right? But we are benefiting when we are serving the Lord. So this is the Abhideya. But then Prayojana is also there. What does Krishna say? The last two lines is Prayojana. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. Right? Without Krishna giving us the knowledge, we will not be able to serve Krishna, isn't it? So we have the jnana, and then we are using the process also by which we can attract Krishna's mercy. All right. And then the last verse talks about Prayojana, which is our topic for Chaitanya Charitamrita today. Right? What is that? Teshamevanu kampartam aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayami atmabhavasto jnana deepena bhashvataha. So in this way, Krishna is telling us, if you engage in my devotional service, then I give you the intelligence, right? I will remove the ignorance from your heart by lighting the transcendental lamp of knowledge. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite teshamevanu kampartam aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayami atmabhavasto jnana deepena bhashvataha. I will light the lamp of transcendental knowledge in the heart of those. Right? When Krishna lights the lamp, then what happens? Krishna Surya Sama Maya Haya Andakar. Yahan Krishna Taha Nahi Hai Maya Adhikar. So there will be no Maya, no darkness, no illusion in our hearts when Krishna lights the lamp of transcendental knowledge. And that time we will be situated in Shuddha Sattva, or that is the time when we get this Prayojana, which is the love of Godhead. Okay, so with this consciousness, we will be entirely dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that we can understand this very, very high level chapter that we're going to discuss today, which is chapter number 23. It's talking about life's ultimate goal. What is that? Love of Godhead. All right, so we'll start with verse number 1. Devotees who would like to read can raise your hands, and then we'll start reading it. Okay, let me start. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Text number 1. Who will read? Okay, Arun Gupta Prabhu, go ahead. Chiradadattam Nijagupta Vittam Swaprema Namamritamatti Udaraha Apamaram Yu Vitatara Gauraha Krishno Janebhyastamaham Prapadye.
Hare Krishna, Madhya. Madhya, shall I read the again or shall I read the translation?
Yeah, read the verse and then the translation.
Chiradatatam nijagupta vittam swaprema namamritam ati udaraha apamaram yo vitatara gauraha Krishno janebhyastam aham prapadye. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The most beneficent Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as God Krishna, distributed to everyone, even the lowest of men, his own confidential treasury in the form of the nectar of love of himself and the holy name. This was never given to the people at any time before. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So, what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu give? Is it that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra was not existing before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought it? No, Hare Krishna Mahamantra was always there. In fact, all the 4 processes, right? Meditation of Satya Yuga, then you have the deity worship of yajnas of Treta Yuga, and then you have this deity worship of Dwapara Yuga, and then you have the Harinama Sankirtan, which is a prescribed process for Kali Yuga. All the 4 processes eternally exist, right? It is not that only in Kali Yuga this process becomes manifest. No. But what is the speciality of Kali Yuga? Right? Whatever benefit one attains in Satya Yuga by meditation, in Treta Yuga by actually performing yajnas, in Dwapara Yuga by simply performing deity worship, the same benefit can be attained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting Hare Krishna. Why such a simple process in Kali Yuga? Why? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Gaura Krishna, right? It's mentioned here. Gupta Vittam. Gupta means he is giving us this most confidential secret that simply by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which was never known to anybody before. Right? What was never known? That simply by chanting Hare Krishna, one can attain pure devotional service. That was never known. And one can attain Krishna Prema by simply chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That is why it is said, Prema Nama Amritam. Nama is always existing. Nama Amritam is nectar. The nectar of the holy name is always existing. But what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduce? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced Prema in the Nama. That means simply by chanting Hare Krishna, we will get Krishna Prema. Pamaram means one who is not at all knowledgeable, one who has not at all studied anything, who is the lowest among men. Right? Even such a person, Krishno Janebhyastam Aham Prapadye, even such person can attain the highest level of God consciousness. Only if one takes to the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one takes to the chanting of the Prema Nama Amritam. That means one takes to the process of chanting the nectarian ocean of the holy name. Okay, text number 2. Sudha Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Mataji.
Jaya Jaya Gaura Chandra, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All translation by Divine Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Lord Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Acharya. And all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Mataji, you can read the next verse. So we see that this is a constant verse wherein Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj always glorifies Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, and all the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this is also the Panchatattva mantra where we sing Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. When we chant this Panchatattva mantra, then what happens? Our heart gets purified, and then it will help us to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in an offenseless way, right? Avoiding the offenses to the holy name. Okay, text 3. Mother, you want to go ahead?
Prema Prayojana Yaha Rashravane Haya Bhakti Rasa Jnana. Translation by Divine Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, now hear, O Sanatana, about the result of devotional service, which is love of Godhead, life's ultimate goal. One who hears this description will be enlightened in the transcendental mellows of devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Madhya. Hare Krishna. Right? Oh, Sanatana. Right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Rupa Goswami at the Shashwamedh Ghat, and he instructed Sanatana Goswami. Right? For about Rupa Goswami is only about 10 days, the Shashwamedh Ghat, and Sanatana Goswami close to 2 to 3 months. Right? At that time, what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Sanatana Goswami? He spoke about the result of devotional service. Right? Smartavya Satatam Vishnu Vismartavyo na Jatuchit. Sarve viri nishedhyasur etayor eva kinkaraha. All of the rules and regulations we follow ultimately have to lead us to the point of always remembering Krishna, never forgetting Krishna. That is the result of devotional service, right? For example, when we love somebody a lot, right? When we love somebody a lot, what we will always think about that person, right? Like Prabhupada gives an example in one of his lectures. Right, when somebody has gone out of station, like for example, say our daughter has got admission in some other institute, say in Chennai, in IIT Chennai, for example, right? And then what happens, right? We are missing our daughter so much. We love our daughter so much. We are missing her so much. Then what do? We go to the room, and then we see the dresses of the daughter, or even the comb that the daughter used to comb. Like that, we see various things at home. We remember our daughter. Why? Because we love her so much. We are experiencing separation. So how do we manage that? By remembering, by looking at various things that will enable us her remembrance, like that, right? So in this way, when we develop love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what will we do? We'll always remember Krishna. Smartavya Satatam Vishnu. And in this case, when we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra also, we are trying to always remember the Lord. That is why it is said you should chant 24 hours of the day. Right? Harinam has to be on our lips all the time, because we don't know when we will quit our body. Right? So when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra all the time, then Krishna is always there in our remembrance. In Kali Yuga, Smaranam is by Shravanam and Kirtanam. By chanting Hare Krishna and hearing Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we can always remember Krishna. So that is what is mentioned here. So life's ultimate goal, Ebishuna Bhakti Phala, Prema Prayojana. Bhakti Phala, the essence of Bhakti or the result of Bhakti, is to always engage in devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this has to be with Prema. It has to be with love. And Bhakti Rasa Jnana. Right? We don't require any knowledge, but we require that knowledge by which we are always able to remember Krishna. That is why we are reading all these pastimes. Otherwise, it's not necessary. We already know Krishna is the Supreme Lord. I am the servant of the Lord. Right? That Sambandha, Abhidheya and Prayojana is already established. Right? So why do we need to study more and more? Because this is the jnana that is actually facilitating. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. So I'm just muting everyone. So devotees can raise your hands. Okay, because my thought process gets diverted and then I lose track. All right. So so devotees who want to read can raise your hands. Okay, let's quickly move forward. What did we do? Yeah. So Krishna Bhakti Rasa. Where did we? Yeah. Yahara Shravane Haya Bhakti Rasa Jnana. Right? Shravane. What does hearing do? Hearing enables us to remember the Lord, and that also gives us the knowledge. Right? I was just telling. Why are we studying Chaitanya Charitamrita? Right? We already know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different from Krishna. We already know Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We don't need to know anything else. We simply need to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So why are we actually reading those pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with Advaita Acharya, with his instructions to Sanatana Goswami, etc.? Because this is the jnana that is actually giving us remembrance of the Lord. That is why it is important to understand. All right. Okay, let's move forward. Text number 4. Yeah. Okay. So text number 4. Who wants to read? Okay, Sumati Suresh Mataji, go ahead. I hope devotees are able to unmute.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji, I could unmute.
Hare Krishna. Dhanavats. Yes, Mataji.
Krishna Rati Gadha Haile Prema Abhidana Krishna Bhakti Rasera Ei Sai Bhavanama. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When affection for Krishna becomes deeper, one attains love of Godhead in devotional service. Such a position is called Sthai Bhava, permanent enjoyment of the mellows of devotional service to Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. Sthayi Bhava means our constitutional position. What is our constitutional position? Jivera Swarupaye Krishnera Nityadas. But it is not the service that we do currently. Right? We do service, at least for myself, I can say. Right? I am doing service because my spiritual masters asked me to chant 16 rounds. So minimum 16 rounds of chanting Hare Krishna I have to do. And I have to offer Bhoga to the Lord and then have only Krishna Prasadam. So I cook for the pleasure of the Lord. But not because, I have the bhava that, oh, Krishna will feel hungry. For Krishna, if I don't serve Krishna, Krishna will go hungry. Right? That kind of emotion I don't have. But I'm still doing seva to the Lord. But that seva is not referred here. Sthayi bhava means one is so ingrained in service to the Lord that come what may. Right? Whether in happiness or in sadness or in pleasure or in pain, I'm always thinking of the Lord. Oh, how will I serve the Lord? Like Haridas Thakur was saying, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Haridas Thakur, how are you? And Haridas Thakur said, I'm okay, but only thing is that I'm not able to complete my sadhana. Right? So I'm very, so he was not having prasadam also. He was not eating anything. He was not sleeping. The whole day he was chanting Hare Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, you don't have to chant so many names. You've already perfected your life. Right? You don't have to do. But the service attitude is so much that the devotee cannot help but continue performance of devotional service. And that is Sthayi Bhava, which brings enjoyment to the Lord. And because the Lord is enjoying the service of the devotee also gains bliss in performing that seva. Right? And that is how there is bliss on both sides. And that is why the seva becomes ahituki and apratihata. There is no stoppage and there is always causeless devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like that. Text number 5. Okay, text 5. Okay, sorry. Swati Mataji, go ahead.
Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma Prema Surya Masu Samya Bhak Ruchi Vischitam Vrishnya Krid Asau Bhava Uchyate. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When devotional service is executed on the transcendental platform of pure goodness, it is like a sun ray of love for Krishna. At such time, devotional service causes the heart to be softened by various tastes, and one is then situated in bhava emotion.
Yeah. So this is a verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma Prema Suryamshu Samyabhav. Right? So when service is rendered, this is what we discussed, right? The bhava is not there now, but by continuous bhakti, sadhana, by practicing as per the principles of devotional service given by Srila Rupa Goswami, which is enunciated in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and is given to us by Srila Prabhupada in the Nectar of Devotion and in various ways. Right? Prabhupada has given us ABCD square formula. Right? In the association of devotees, we hear Bhagavatam, we chant Hare Krishna, we engage in devotional service, we honor a diet of only Krishna Prasadam. In this way, when we continue to perform sadhana bhakti, then slowly the bhava, which is raganuga bhakti, will arise in our hearts, right? So until such stage, what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to continue our devotional service and practice, right? In order to like we practice for various tests so that we can clear the final exam, isn't it? Similarly, we get so many tests. Right? Sometimes we are not well. Sometimes, we get busy in so many professional assignments, this, that, something or other comes up. But still are we fixed in performing our sadhana, chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra, performing deity worship, performing Mangala Arati, Tulasi Arati, Narsingha Arati, etc., etc. Then what happens? Krishna will see our sincerity and ye tamam prapadyante tam sateva bhajamiham. Krishna will award us taste in performing devotional service according to our sincerity and determination to perform devotional service in all circumstances. Like that. All right, text number 6. Arun Gupta Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Ei dui bhavera swarupa tatastha lakshana premera lakshana ebe suna sanatana. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhava, emotion, has two different symptoms, constitutional and marginal. Now, my dear Sanatana, listen to the symptoms of love.
You can read the purport, Prabhu.
The word Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma means situated on the transcendental platform of pure goodness. In this way, the soul is purified by all material contamination, and this position is called Swarupa Lakshana. the constitution symptom of bhava, emotion. By various tastes, one's heart is softened, and there is an awakening of one's loving propensity to render spontaneous service to the Lord. This is called
Thank you, sir.
Tatastha Lakshana, the marginal symptoms of bhava. Hare Krishna.
So everything has certain primary characteristics and they have some secondary characteristics, right? Even rasas, we know there are 5 primary rasas. There are 5 primary rasas and there are also 12 other rasas like hasya rasa, right? There are also like it's given in Nectar of Devotion, not able to recollect, but there are 5 primary rasas. We all know that, right? Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya rasa. But apart from that, fear is a kind of rasa, humor is a kind of rasa, right? Those are all secondary rasas. That means they are marginal rasas, right? Whereas Swarupa Lakshana means what is core. The 5 rasas are core to the experiencing loving reciprocation with the Lord, right? And Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu also talks about Chandrananda Visheshatma. Chandrananda Visheshatma means one who is in the transcendental platform of pure goodness or in Shuddha Sattva. He experiences the pleasure of serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like we said, the pleasure is experienced only when the Lord is experiencing that pleasure. Right? If one simply experiences even in the conditioned stage, and nowadays we also experience pleasure in doing a particular kind of seva, right? That may be because we like doing that particular seva or doing that particular activity, not necessarily because the Lord is pleased, right? The Lord gives us a little bit of taste because the Lord wants us to continue that seva for His pleasure, right? Like that it is mentioned. But in the stage of Shuddha Bhakti, the pleasure is not in the activity. The pleasure is not because I am deriving pleasure in stringing this garland for the Lord. The pleasure is not because I am singing a particular bhajan. Right? Nowadays, at least, in the current scenario, we might experience bliss in devotional service because we might like the tune of the bhajan. Or we might like to play the musical instrument. We might like to play the harmonium. Or we might like to play the kartal. And in that particular activity, we are deriving bliss. And that will also enable us to continue that activity. That is why Krishna says susukam kartum avyayam in Bhagavad Gita also, right? So this symptom of bhava or emotion or pleasure in rendering service to the Lord actually helps us continue with the process of devotional service. But that is not what is mentioned here in this verse. In this verse, what is mentioned is the transcendental bliss experienced by the devotee, which is the Swarupa Lakshana. That means the love that is experienced by the devotee and the bliss experienced by the devotee in serving the Lord, because the heart becomes as soft as butter, right? Bilva Mangal Thakur also sings, right? Braje Prasidam Navanita Choram. Right? Krishna only steals butter, and that means Krishna steals only those hearts which are as soft as butter, which have developed pure love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? In that way, in such love, if one renders service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is called the Swarupa Lakshana of a devotee, of a pure devotee. That is the essence, that love, unmotivated, uninterrupted love for the Lord, right? And what is a marginal symptom? Marginal symptom means we engage in activities that are required to please the Lord, not for our pleasure, but for the pleasure of the Lord, like that. All right, so let's move forward. Text number 7. Sudha Mataji, go ahead. Sudha Mataji, you need to
Hare Krishna Mataji, Namaskar. Samyan mashnita swanto mamartvati shayantika bhavasa eva sandratma buddhai prema nikatyate. Translation by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When that bhava softens the heart completely, becomes endowed with a great feeling of possessiveness in relation to the Lord and becomes very much condensed and intensified, it is called prema, love of Godhead by learned scholars. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So generally, when we make this kheer, right, we offer kheer to to Radha and Krishna on the day of Purnima, right, when the Lord does his Rasa Leela, etc. Right? How do we prepare that kheer? It is like the milk. We boil the milk and we condense the milk so much maybe we take 2 liters and then it becomes like almost 1/10 of that, right? That means it's become nice, and we add sugar and we add that condensed milk, and in this way what happens, it becomes so much condensed and intensified, becomes so much more tasty, isn't it? So prema is like that, right? Initially it starts off with simple shraddha. I just believe that Lord will take care of everything, and in this way we intensify, we start our process of bhajana kriya, and then our bhajana kriya process becomes so much intensified, so much condensed. Means what? I'm just not satisfied with 16 rounds of chanting. I want to chant 48 rounds. I want to chant 72 rounds. I want to chant 108 rounds. Right? Tomorrow is Ekadashi, so we can take a sankalpa. I want to chant 108 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra for Krishna's pleasure. Because if Krishna is pleased, then he will give us taste to chant 108, 128, 164 rounds also. Right? But provided what we should have in our heart, we should have that desire. If we have that intense desire to please the Lord, then Krishna will give us the intelligence, the resources, the skills, whatever is required to perform service in a way that is pleasing to him, right? And this verse also talks about the great feeling of possessiveness, right? We see that Krishna says, what is that verse where Krishna says that ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate. Ananya bhakti. Krishna does not like if we pray to Saraswati, oh give me, oh goddess of learning, give me, let me get good marks. Oh Lakshmi Devi, give me a lot of money. Okay, Krishna, I also worship you. Right? Krishna does not like that kind of worship. Ananya chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate. Those devotees of the Lord, Krishna does not see what we give him. Krishna sees what we hold with us. Krishna sees what we hide and keep for ourselves. Right? Krishna is very, very possessive, especially with his pure devotees. Right? That is why there is possessiveness even when we see the Lilas between Radha and Krishna also. Right? It is not that Radharani is possessive about Krishna. Radharani engages us in the service of the Lord. It is only with the mercy of Radharani we are serving the Lord. But why is Radharani exhibiting some kinds of possessiveness in sometimes? Right? Why? Because it gives pleasure to Krishna. Because Krishna always likes to be controlled by his devotees. And sometimes when devotees control Krishna, Krishna experiences pleasure. Krishna experiences more pleasure in being controlled by his devotees than by being called, oh, you are the controller of this entire world. You are Bhoktaram, you are Yajnatapasam, you are Sarvalokam Maheshwaram. Those are all secondary names of the Lord. Krishna likes primary names. What are the primary names? Govinda, Gopala, Madhusudana, Radhika, Ramana, right? Those names are primary names of Krishna, which is talking about the loving reciprocation between the Lord and his devotees. Because Krishna likes to be associated with his devotees and likes to be remembered in association with his devotees. Radhika, Raman, one who gives pleasure to Radhika. That's why he's called Radhika Raman, like that. Because when prema becomes intensified so much, then one cannot separate Bhakti, Bhakta and Bhagavan. They all become intertwined so much with each other that one cannot separate the Bhakta with the Lord. That is why the greatest devotee is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, Nahi Anya. Right? One cannot separate a devotee and the Lord and devotion. Bhakti, Bhagavan and Bhakta, they are all inseparable because they are so much connected with each other. Okay. Let's move forward. Text number 8. Krishnamurti Prabhu, go ahead.
Ananya mamata Vishnu mamata prema sangata bhaktir iti uchyate bhishma pralaudodhava naradaihi. Translation by Sri Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. When one develops an unflinching sense of ownership or possessiveness in relation to Lord Vishnu, or in other words, when one thinks Vishnu and no one else to be the only object of love, such an awakening is called bhakti, devotion, by exalted persons like Bhishma, Prahalada, Uddhava and Narada. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So we all know this pastime, right? Where Krishna sends Uddhava to Vrindavan Dham, right? He asks him to go and console the Vrindavan Vasis, right? Because Krishna is not there. They are not doing any work because they're continuously feeling separation from the Lord. And so Krishna sends Uddhava to console the Vrajavasis. But what was the antaranga or the internal desire of Krishna? Krishna actually wanted Uddhava to become a pure devotee. Uddhava is the disciple of Brahaspati, very, very knowledgeable, right? He used to look exactly like Krishna also, right? But Krishna sent Uddhava for Uddhava to understand the glory of Brajavasis, right? He actually came to console, saying, why are you waiting for Krishna? Krishna is there in your heart. Krishna is there in your heart as Paramatma. So why are you experiencing separation? Like he came to give such kind of gyan. But when he came and saw Yashoda Maya, Nanda Maharaj, Srimati Radharani, Gopis, the Gopas of Vrindavan, they are completely lost. They are saying, oh, if you are unable to remember Krishna, if you are able to forget Krishna, then we will be in a better state. Because we are not able to forget Krishna, we are always remembering Krishna every second. That is why we are suffering so much. But then we are happy to suffer like this in separation from Krishna. And when Uddhava saw this kind of bhava, this kind of emotion of the Vrajavasis for Krishna, he actually understood that my knowledge, theoretical knowledge, is no use, right? Because I am not experiencing this separation from Krishna, right? So that is why Uddhava requested that let me become a blade of grass in Vrindavan. Let me be stamped over by the gopis of Vrindavan, right? In that way, let me cultivate this mood of Gopi Bhartu Bhadakamal Yor Dasa 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 Dasanu Dasa, right? That is the mood of our acharyas also, right? Bhishma, Prahlada, Uddhava, Narada, right? All of them, right? The bhakti that they have for the Supreme Personality of Godhead is for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But at the same time, these devotees sometimes exhibit ownership, possessiveness, etc. Not for their own controllership mentality, right? If we have controllership mentality, we cannot even reach the stage of Nishtha, right? Because we have to be completely surrendered. Only then we have to give up ahankar, we have to give up this false controlling mentality, etc. Knowing that Krishna is the CEO, right? Krishna is the supreme controller, Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, and Krishna is the owner. So that is very preliminary stages of bhakti. That is all achieved long time back by the pure devotees. Yet they exhibit sometimes, they exhibit this mood or this emotion or this bhava of controlling Krishna. Like Yashoda Maya is praying to Lord Vishnu. What is this? The entire Brahmanda is being shown in my little boy's mouth. Now, what happened? Is there some, some caste spelled by some demon? Oh, Vishnu, please protect my child, like that, right? So they are in anxiety, they take ownership, and Yashoda Maya wants to ensure that her son does not steal. So she runs behind him with a stick, and she wants to tie him to a motor. Why all this? Yashoda Maya, she's a pure devotee of the Lord, but there is no Aishwarya Bhav. In Vrindavan, it is pure love, right? Which is unadulterated love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this kind of ownership. If I don't teach Krishna, then what kind of a human being he'll become, when he grows up, right? Like that, the mother is thinking, if I don't teach my son, then when he grows up, he will not know how to behave in front of all the people, right? Such kind of ownership, such kind of controlling mentality are developed by pure devotees of the Lord for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All right, so let's move ahead. Okay, so let's move to text number 9. Okay, we are at 12:52. Okay, we'll try to complete a few more verses. Let's see how much we can do today. Okay, Sumati Mataji, go ahead, text number 9.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Kona bhagye kona jivera shraddhaya dihaya tabe sei jiva sadhu sanga ye karaya. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If by good fortune a living entity develops faith in Krishna, he begins to associate with devotees.
Okay, correct. So now all these verses told us how to attain the highest stage, right? To control Krishna, to get ownership of Krishna, to make Krishna feel pleasure. If Krishna is pleased when I exercise this controlling mentality, then I exhibit, right? All of that comes natural to a pure devotee of the Lord. Now, to attain that stage, currently where we are, like for example, if I have to go to Radha Giridhari Mandir, which is in Meera Road, I am currently in Kandivali, right? I know my destination is Meera Road, But then I find out how to go to Mira Road, right? First of all, I have to get ready, go down, take an auto, and take the ride to Mira Road, right? So I need to know where I am, which is the place I need to reach, and what is the process, right? What is the route exactly, right? So now we know the destination. We want to develop this ananya bhava, this love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But currently, where am I? I'm currently in the stage where I have a little bit of shraddha. I have a little bit of faith in Krishna's words. I'm happy to follow the instructions of Krishna. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskaru mami vesha satyam te pratijani priyosime. Think of me, become my devotee, manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji, worship me, mam namaskaru, offer obeisances to me. So, like, I remember one of the pastimes of Prabhupada and Lila, it is mentioned. One devotee asked Prabhupada, when you come in the airport, I saw so many devotees, they were jumping into enthusiasm and they were offering you obeisances. But Prabhupada, I didn't feel anything. I did not feel that I should offer obeisances to you. And then Prabhupada said, that's okay. You just offer obeisance to me, right? So that is sadhana bhakti. I don't feel love for the Lord, but then I follow the principle of sadhana bhakti, exactly like this devotee who didn't want to offer obeisance, but Prabhupada gave him away. You offer obeisance. Every time you come in front of the spiritual master, you will develop the love for the spiritual master until it becomes that you become so enthusiastic and you feel it from your heart. So what is required basically is shraddha, the desire to follow the instruction of the spiritual master. And then what do? We go to the next stage, which is sadhu sangha. We associate with like-minded devotees who are also wanting to go to Mira Road, or who are also wanting to go to attain this love of Godhead, who want to attain this raganuga bhakti. So we associate with those kind of devotees. And then what do? We do bhajana kriya. We chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We study Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, like you're doing Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? We are all aspiring to attain Krishna Prema. That is why we are not doing anything else. We are studying Chaitanya Charitamrita in the afternoon time, isn't it? Otherwise, it's happy, na? We can just go to sleep. We can be in tamoguna, in complete ignorance. But we have chosen to param drishtva nivartate. We have chosen a higher thing by which we've been able to give up the unnecessary sleeping, gossiping, watching TV, etc. We've given up all of that, and we've now come at least to this platform of hearing about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, hearing about the instructions Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving to Sanatana Goswami. So this is a little bit of experience in the higher taste. As we progress in this with sincerity and determination, we will reach the goal of Krishna Prema. Right? So sadhu shraddha, then sadhu sangha, then we do bhajana kriya, and then the lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion, anarthas in the heart get removed. And then what happens? Nishtha, firm faith in the Lord, is established in the heart. And then ruchi, then we will want thousands of mouths and ears. The Guru Goswami is saying, tunde tandavini ratim vitanote tundavali labdaye, right? I want millions of mouths, I want millions of ears to chant Hare Krishna, to hear the glories of the Lord. That is nishtha. And then later ruchi, taste for chanting Hare Krishna, taste for performing devotional service, raga nuga bhakti, ruchi. And then asakti, you become so attached. I cannot remain without performing my chanting. That is Haridas Thakur, right? I am so much of in old age. I'm not able to hold the beads. I'm not able to chant Hare Krishna. I'm not able to hear properly. My ears are not working properly. But still I have this desire in my heart to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra more and more. And I'm so much despising myself that although I want to chant, my senses are not cooperating with me, right? So that is the stage of asakti. And then bhava, and then prema, right? Asakti means complete attachment. Bhava means we are already experiencing, the eightfold symptoms, right? Tears are rolling down from our eyes, the hairs are standing on the end, etc. We are experiencing all that. And then prema is the stage, it is like the flowering stage and the stage where, the fruit is born, right? The flowering stage itself, that means the plant is growing and flourishing. Nice flowers are coming. The flowers are so fragrant. And, the taste for Krishna consciousness is already there. But then the fruit of Krishna Prema, that is the ripened fruit of Krishna Prema. That is the stage of Prema. All right. So next couple of verses, we'll be talking about the different stages, right? What are we doing in Sadhu Sangha? And then how do we progress? So quickly, let's do it. Text number 10. We'll read. Arun Gupta Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sadhu Sangha hoite hoya Shravana Kirtana Sadhana Bhaktaye hoya Shravanartha Nivartana. Translation by Srila
Sarva
Prabhupada.
Anartha Nivartana.
Sarva Anartha Nivartana. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When one is engaged in devotional service by the association of devotees, one becomes free from all unwanted contamination by following the regulative principles and chanting and hearing.
Yeah. Go ahead. Next one. Anartha Nivritti. Okay, Padma Mataji can go ahead. Yes, Padma Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Anarthanyavrati haitye haya haitye swamanade ruchi upajaya. The translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When one is freed from all unwanted contamination, he advances with firm faith. When firm faith in devotional service awakens, a taste for hearing and chanting also awakens. Thank you, Mother.
So Anartha Nivritti is removal of lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion. And in its place, what happens? Love for the Supreme Lord. Faith in performing devotional service arises in the heart. Anartha Nivritti. And then Nishtha. Nishtha is firm faith. Right? And then Ruchi. Ruchi is taste for hearing and chanting. Okay. Next, Sudha Mataji, go ahead. Text number 12. Ruchi haite bhaktya haya.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanavad.
Dhanavad Mataji.
रुचि हैते भक्ते हया आसक्ति प्रचुरा आसक्ति हैते चित्ते जन्मे कृष्णे प्रीति अंकुरा. Translation by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. After taste is awakened, a deep attachment arises. From that attachment, the seed of love for Krishna grows in the heart. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Ashakti means deep attachment for the Lord and the service to the Lord, and the seed of love grows there from there. Okay, next one, text number 13. Krishnamurti Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Va. Mata 13 Mataji.
13. Sei
Bhava Gandha Haile Dhare Prema Nama Sei Prema Prayojana Sarvananda Dhama. Translation basic Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. When the ecstatic emotion stage intensifies, it is called love of Godhead. Such love is life's ultimate goal and the reservoir of all pleasure. May I read purport, Mataji?
No, Prabhu, we'll just discuss the purport. It's the same thing what we discussed.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
So, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you. So, a person, when he has some fortune, what does he do? He begins to have the faith. When he has the faith, then he slowly moves on to hearing and chanting in the association of devotees, sadhu sangha. Then what happens? Anartha nivritti, and unwanted things get removed. And then nishtha, firm faith is established. And then ruchi, one gets taste in performing devotional service. And then one gets bhava and prema, sakti, bhava and prema. That's called rati. Rati means affection for the Lord. And then Prabhupada in the purport talks about sadhana bhakti and bhava bhakti. Sadhana bhakti means we follow the regulative principles, right? No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex, chanting of minimum 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That is rules and regulations in following bhakti. And then we come to the stage of bhava bhakti. Bhava bhakti means we naturally want to follow. It becomes a way of life for us. Then we no need to actually consider meat eating, right? We will have only Krishna Prasadam. What, the Lord has honored, only that we will have. We will not have anything else other than that. Okay, so this is the last verse. We will end with this. Let me share my screen. We will quickly end with this 14 to 15. These are the several stages, right, from Shraddha to Krishna Prema. We'll complete with this verse. Okay, Karpavali Mataji, go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji.
Adau Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sango.
Thank you, Mataji. Adau Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha Tata Bhajana Kriya Tato Natta Nivatta Sayu
Nivritti Syat Tato Nishtha Ruchi Stataha.
Ada Sakti Sada Bhava Sada Prema Bhuti
Anchati Sadhakanam Ayam Premnaha Pradhurbhave Bhavet Kramaha.
Pradhurbhave Kramaha. Translation Prabhupada KJ. In the beginning there must be faith. Then one becomes interested in associating with pure devotees. Thereafter, one is initiated by the spiritual master and executes the regulative principles under his orders. Thus, one is freed from all unwanted habits and becomes firmly fixed in devotional service. Thereafter, one develops taste and attachment. This is the way of sadhana bhakti. The execution of devotional service according to the regulative principles. Gradually, emotions intensify, and finally, there is an awakening of love. This is the gradual development of love for the Godhead, for the devotee interested in Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Mataji.
So these are the different stages that we actually studied. Okay, last verse. Let's take this. Satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti hritkarna rasayana katha tajoshanada sapavarga vartmani shraddharatir bhaktir anukramishati. Okay, now Kishori Mataji, go ahead. We'll end with you. Yes, translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam Mataji, translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The spiritual powerful message of Godhead can be properly discussed only in a society of devotee, and it is greatly pleasing to hear in that society. If one hears from devotee, the way of transcendental experience quickly opens, and gradually one attain from faith that in due to course develops into attraction and devotion. Should I read purport?
So it's just one line. It is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.25.25. So this is the way by which we can attain faith, right? Only when one hears from devotees, like Prabhupada says, the milk is generally, it gives a lot of energy, right? But if the same milk is touched by the lips of a serpent, then it will give negative effects, right? It will not energize us the way milk has to energize us, right? So similarly, the words of Srimad Bhagavatam are very, very pure, and it can enable us to attain love of Godhead. But if we don't hear from a bona fide parampara, then what happens? Just like the poison may not give the desired result. Like that, hearing from a person who's not coming in a bona fide parampara will not yield the desired success of Krishna Prema. That is why we have to be very careful whose association we take, right? Whom are we hearing from? Of course, when we go for book distribution, we give association. We give Srila Prabhupada's book to others. But we have to be very careful whose association we take, right? Like Prabhupada always said, we are the average of the 5 people that we associate with very closely. So we have to choose those 5 people very carefully so that we are always enriched in performing devotional service. So with that, we will end here. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So thank you all. In case everyone can unmute themselves now. And if anyone has any queries or questions or realizations, we can take that. It's 3:10. We're already over time. But say maybe 3:02. Okay. So it's 3:02. So we have 3 minutes more. We will end at 3:05. Anyone wants to share anything, any questions, any comments, we can take. Otherwise, we can close the session now. Okay. So thank you very much. Grantraj Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So tomorrow is Ekadashi. We can try to do more sadhana tomorrow and enhance our sadhana bhakti so that the grace of Guru and Gauranga we attain the goal of life, which is Krishna Prema. And of course, the most munificent appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is coming on 25th of March this year, about 19 days from today. So we can also prepare our consciousness from Ekadashi for the appearance of Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Dandavat pranam to all. Hare Bol.
Dandavat pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam to all.